Hello all and welcome back. We are in another plus 10 dungeon here today. Same day as I did Pit of Sauron, and we're in Skyreach. Skyreach actually I have fond memories of because of challenge modes back in Warlords. I do have an old Warlords Skyreach challenge mode video on my channel. I'll link it down below so people can see the differences a lot more clearly. So yeah, here we are just waiting on the last guy here. He was AFK when I joined the group, so we had to wait a bit. I will say Skyreach does have quite a few differences to it. Some good, some really tedious, as you'll see on the first boss. I do think the old version of the first boss was a lot better, but that's just me. Probably, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, I forgot how long it took for the guy to get here. We were waiting for a bit. But yeah, I've been doing this dungeon quite a bit on lower lower key levels because of the trinket, which is technically best if you only do dungeons as a paladin, but the only upgrade you can get is from March of Keldanas, and that just came out this week, so I'm not planning to pug that anytime soon. Yeah, so here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The first pull here can be quite dangerous depending on the tanks, because you got a couple of casters here who does like a giant knockback if their cast goes off, so I usually try to focus one of those. But you also have these wind elementals, and when they die they sort of explode into a void zone on the ground, as you can see. You just don't want to stand in that because it does do quite a bit of damage. And I just realized there's another monk tank. How many monk tanks has there been in this video so far? At least I think most of these have been monk tanks. They are the most overpowered tank right now, but you know. And so here we got these big birds. They can do quite a bit of damage, although they're not as bad as they used to be. Pull these with the trash, and if you pull these with trash in the original, you would definitely die. But yeah, probably the worst thing they do now is just they target a player with a push, with a knockback, so you just have to make sure you're standing up against the wall. Yeah, we got two of them in the group, so yeah, I get targeted right here, and I'm knocked into the wall. It does a bit of a chunk, but it's not like you need cooldowns for it or anything, at least not at the plus 10s. Maybe if you go a lot higher you'll definitely need cooldowns, but just don't aim it towards the edge or you'll be doing the run of shame. So here we are already on the boss platform clearing the trash. Same thing here, focusing the casters. We don't want that to get off, especially in this area, because yeah, this platform doesn't really have any walls. I will say about this Mythic Plus rotation is that I am loving all the dungeons they brought back from previous expansion. Didn't expect it to because of Seat, but even that one I actually really enjoy. The boss is gonna spawn directly after the East Eye, so. And we're just getting the buff from Salatadad while he starts. So this boss is very changed from its original version. It will target random players with these debuffs, and when they expire they drop these blue little void zones on the ground, which are kind of annoying as you'll see in a bit. He throws out a chakram, which goes all the way out and then comes back in. If you stand in it, you either die or take a huge amount of damage. Other than that, he does like a debuff on the entire party, which is just healing. And now we go into the special phase where he starts doing this whole mess. You just have to dodge circles while DPSing the boss. I do an awful job at it here. First I get the debuff on me, then I instantly get knocked into a tornado, and then I get knocked into another one because, yeah, I don't know what I was doing here. The mage dies. I think he was hit by a chakram. He gets rest. I don't know what I was doing on this boss. I was playing really badly on this boss. Then we go into the phase again. Sometimes I find this phase really simple, sometimes it's just a mess. I think it also depends on where the debuffs drop. I had it on me again and I sort of got into a bad situation, and yeah. So now we just have to sit here and wait because the only other battle res in this group was me. And I think it's on cooldown anyway. So now we just have to sit and watch for the last 20%. I will admit I was a bit annoyed with myself, self here, so. But luckily the rest of the dungeon went pretty smooth anyway. And the DK and the mage also messed up, so I didn't feel as bad as I would if I was the only one who messed up. But mistakes can happen, you know. Yeah, the boss goes down here. We just respawn right here, so. At this trash, there used to be a bird patrolling between the two, and you had to time when to pull it. Look, I am very happy they removed that, so now we just go to one of the sides. We picked this one, which I'm not sure if it's better or not. One of these mobs casts Blazing Light, which if you don't interrupt it, you get disoriented. I'm not sure if you can still turn your back on it, like in the original. But it's safer to just interrupt it than trying. You also have these sun elementals, I guess. Because there's all about sun energy here. And they do a ton of different stuff. Like they do these void zones, they spawn an orb you have to DPS down, or it's just heavy damage on the group. So now we're already into the second boss room. He's just chilling in the middle there. First we gotta kill all the trash for him to spawn. So these trash, we have these giant golems. They will target a random player in the group and channel a beam on that player, which is just heavy damage. Not too bad, but if you get two of them on you, which I have seen happen before, it can be very deadly. So make sure you have a cooldown if you get two of them on you. Doesn't happen often because most people don't pull two, but this guy waited until the first one was at low HP before pulling the second one, so it wasn't too bad. Now we're on to the last pack. I know at least one of these packs has a mob you have to interrupt in it, but I could not find it on this time for some reason. Maybe I'm thinking of another place, but yeah. So we're just killing the last mob here. And the boss is gonna activate as soon as this guy goes down. So this mob has had some changes as well, like now he's rooted in place in the center of the room, so you can't move him around anymore. But other than that, his mechanics are very similar. He will still do beams around the room, which you have to soak, or he gets his energy bar will stack up a lot faster. And if once his energy bar stacks up to full, he will basically buff himself and do more damage. And the more it stacks up, obviously, the more damage he's gonna do. So it's sort of like a soft enrage. It's gonna happen naturally over the course of the fight, but you have to slow it down by soaking these beams. Ideally, you want the 3 DPS to do it, because the tank has to avoid a frontal a cone frontal, which didn't exist in the original. And if he steps out of that, obviously he steps out of the beam as well. So, and the healer definitely shouldn't be in it, because he should just focus on healing on this fight, because the beams can do a bit of damage to the players. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess up with the early beams, but now it seems to be a lot more stable, so that's really good. Yeah, the frontal smash used to also work very different, and it used to work so you always had to take the damage from it, but it does a lot more damage now than it used to, so. So that's also, if you step, one tiny little funny thing I've noticed, if you step into his little pool of stuff under him, he will actually swap off the tank and target you. It's happened to me a couple of times because I didn't know about it, but once I learned that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, now we move on to arguably the most dangerous trash in this dungeon, if you're anyone by the tank. These birds, they were terrifying in the original, they're still terrifying now. And I somehow almost die there. But yeah, these big mobs, they will channel, or they will cast a spell on one person, and all the birds will target that person. Basically fixate onto that person, do a ton of damage. You can stun them, or you basically have to stun them or disorient them in order to get them away from that target. Or you can use an immunity or a damage reduction cooldown, should also be fine. But it's very easy for especially more squishier classes to be instant killed. I've seen them one-shot mages and priests so many times. So here we go on the third boss. He's changed slightly. In the original, his ads used to, if they hit someone or went up to someone and hit someone, they would explode and basically wipe the group. Now they just do melee swings if they catch up to the person they're fixating. You still want to space them out so they don't resurrect each other when they die, but also they do have ticking AoE damage, so you actually want to kill them instead of kite them like you used to do in the old days. Other than that, this boss is fairly simple. It's as long as you handle the ads right, this boss is very simple. Yeah, most of the time you just want to stun the ad, kill it, go back to the boss. I guess I can always talk about this phase. Every now and then he will fly away and start casting a spell, which is just massive amounts of damage to anywhere on the platform, unless you're line of sight behind the pillar. It's a very simple mechanic. As long as you're behind the pillar, you'll be fine. Or you can use some insane cooldown to keep doing damage to the boss, but it's usually not needed, at least at this level. Now we get everyone's favorite part of Skyreach, the Wind Maze, which is very simple to get through as a paladin. You can just use your horse and run straight through. The birds do like a tornado nowadays on this one, so it's a bit different, but also these stairs can be a bit dangerous with the birds, but yeah, it's not too bad if you know your tricks to get through it. You can also, as a paladin, use bubble to just run straight through the tornadoes from the birds, but yeah. So now we're into the final trash. This used to be the trash people skipped with invisibility pots back in the day. No one liked this trash, and it's still quite a pain in the ass today, as you'll see when we go through this. Yes, I didn't see the orb in the corner there, so that probably cost the mage his life, but which is a bit annoying at this point because the resurrection stone is before the wind maze area. Like, the wind is gone, but you still have to like run all the way back. So yeah, these orbs are extremely dangerous. So if I haven't mentioned yet, the camera angles in these indoor dungeon areas are quite bad. You'll see that in my next video, which I haven't recorded voiceover for yet, but I have it recorded, so gotta do that a bit after this. Maybe I have a small break first.
Sacrifice has been prepared.
One thing I also found interesting is that they put trash on the boss platform this time. I know I compare the original to the new ones a lot, but like I just find it interesting, especially when you've done the originals. Yeah, in the original you didn't have to. You got to the last platform and the boss was just there waiting. Now you have to. Now there's 3 packs of trash mobs that spawn on the boss platform you have to kill before the boss spawns. And they have all the dangerous mob from the dungeon in them, as you'll see during this, because we pulled 2 packs. So we got 2 big bursts, we got these ads that channel the knockback, and you got the big construct enemies and elementals. This trash can be dangerous, and I accidentally tabbed away from the mob there, and we got a cast off, and that killed the mage, I'm pretty sure. So here you see the monk is gonna start kiting pretty soon because he's starting to take a lot of damage, and we're down on DPS. So yeah, as you see him start kiting here, which is not a bad idea when it starts getting this much. May have overpulled a little bit, but it's a great thing about monks, they've always been good at kiting. So now we're just finishing up the last couple of mobs, and then the boss is gonna be landing. Boss has a few interesting mechanics, really fun ones, especially if you're in a group with people you know. You can be a bit trolly about it. One thing, he does massive amounts of AoE damage constantly to the party, so your healer has to be on top of that. He summons an ad that will pick someone up, similar to the Lich King. It will pick someone up and drop them off the edge if not DPS down in time. So you can stun that and then kill it, slow it, anything you need to do to keep it off the platform. Some classes can get back on the platform, but... And another, the last thing he does, he puts a giant... He targets someone, and everywhere that person walks is going to be a giant void zone, which lasts until the rest of the fight. Now what paladins can do, they can bubble and stay in one place, so it doesn't get spread as much, as you can see me doing here. As long as you keep your eye on the bubble timer. And then it just stays there in the corner. And that's pretty much all this boss does, so I'm gonna leave you to the rest of it. Thanks for watching.
Behold the might of the Arakor! Cast them down! Let the scavengers below feed on their foes! Behold the might of the Arakor!